and threw a large dress bag onto the couch. She then cast herself theatrically down beside it and sobbed noisily into a bolster. Miriam felt a wave of irritation. Why did everything involving her younger daughter have to be so dramatic? Miriam had battled hard over the years to control her own emotional reactions to life's inevitable upsets. Because it didn't come naturally to her, she admired restraint and despised its opposite. Perhaps that was why her youngest daughter's behaviour so often got under her skin. She took a deep breath. "Don't be silly, darling. It looked beautiful at the fitting last week." Miriam was now sitting beside her daughter, perched on the few available inches of couch, stroking her back in what she hoped was a comforting manner. Ali didn't bother to lift her head. Did tears stain? Miriam wondered. Was Ali wearing mascara that might run? The couch was pale cream and had cost a bomb. Miriam wished her daughter had picked an older piece of furniture on which to cry so extravagantly. "I was trying to convince myself it did, but I didn't even like it then. I thought it'd look better when it was tighter." "And I'm sure it does." "No, it doesn't. I told you it doesn't fit." Ali spat the words at her mother, as if all this was somehow her fault. Repressing her answering spurt of rage, Miriam reminded herself this was merely pre-wedding jitters. "Here, let's try it on in my bedroom and see." "No, I never want to see it again." Ali kicked at the bag and it slid silkily to the floor. Miriam's stroking became a rather firm pat between the shoulder blades. "Alison, darling, you are not 12. You are getting married tomorrow and you are going to have to wear something, and this is the only wedding dress you've got." Though she was doing her best to sound calm and reassuring, Miriam felt a lurch inside her belly as she thought about the wedding day ahead. Her anxiety wasn't caused by nerves about last-minute details or even the tantrum about the dress. In her usual fashion, Miriam had everything sorted down to the last pale pink rosebud. No, it was an uneasiness that had been there ever since her youngest daughter had announced she was marrying Nick, a young man whom Miriam and Pete, and Alison for that matter, had only just met. But it wasn't the short time they had known him that worried her. Miriam had taken an instant liking to her daughter's new lover. Tall, handsome and charming, he reminded her of Pete in some indefinable way. They didn't look alike, but maybe it was something about Nick's smile. Whatever it was, she liked him. When the couple announced they were getting married only a few weeks into their whirlwind romance, Miriam had felt relieved. She was sick of the assortment of musicians, hippies, and other dropkicks her beautiful, smart and talented daughter had brought home, all of them so obviously her inferior. Nick was different. In the handsome vet, Ali had at last found someone who was her match. What worried Miriam was not that they hardly knew each other. It was that Ali would somehow do something to stuff it all up. She had always felt more protective of her younger daughter than her elder. Even as a child, Fiona had been robust and even-tempered. Alison, on the other hand, was sensitive, delicate, easily frightened. She liked everything to be predictable, familiar, and she hated surprises. She was the kind of little girl who hid behind her mother's legs when asked to say hello to other grown-ups. She'd sucked her thumb until she was midway through primary school, a habit that had led to much expensive orthodontic work. Even when she grew up and became a surprisingly independent teenager, Miriam had worried more about Ali than she had about her sister. Alison had found her mother's anxiety oppressive and reacted by becoming sullen and withdrawn. Rightly, Miriam admitted to herself, Ali had understood that her mother's protectiveness stemmed from a lack of confidence in her younger daughter's ability to cope. Miriam scooped up the dress bag and ushered the sobbing bride-to-be up the hall. While a tear-stained Alison stood in front of the full-length mirror in her parents' bedroom, Miriam bent down behind her and painstakingly fastened the fiddly cloth-covered buttons that snaked down the back of the form-fitting wedding dress. Alison's sobs were abating. When the last button was done up, Miriam rose to consider her daughter. As she had known would be the case, beautiful Alison looked, well, beautiful. "Oh," Alison said between sniffs, "he looks better."